It's time for another edition of the Lawrence County SportsNet podcast series as we recap week number 6. Week 6, game 7 in the books for the high school football season. I'm James Dotson, glad to be here each and every week. Our weekly get-togethers, again, delivered by Penn, Ohio Bottled Water. Make sure you give them a call for delivery of your bottled water service, whether it's for your top or bottom loading water coolers or the individual 16-ounce bottles. Make sure you ask about their custom label options. Let Penn Ohio Bottled Water do the heavy lifting. It's the Mohawk defense that did the heavy lifting in their win over Beaver Falls, 21-12 the final. We've talked about the Mohawk offense all year. Maybe we ought to start giving some more love to this Warrior defense as they hold Beaver Falls to just 2 touchdowns and a couple of huge goal line stands in the red zone, and a couple of fourth quarter turnovers as well, leading to Mohawks come from behind victory. Beaver Falls, they were going for win number 700 in program history. It will have to wait at least one more week, though it was Beaver Falls striking first, a 14-play scoring drive that was aided by a I'll call it a quote-unquote fake punt. It was a punt snap that the punter for Beaver Falls kind of knew that it was going to get blocked, so McKelvey pulled it down and ran and got the first down. That would lead to a 14-play drive. Bricks Rawl from 1 yard out, his first of 2 touchdowns. That later one came from 5 yards out. Bobby Fadden catches a spectacular toe-tapping touchdown in between those 2 Bricks Rawl scores. It was 12-7 late in the first half. Mohawk punting it away with 1:30 remaining, and Beaver Falls partially blocks it, creates themselves another short field, but the Mohawk defense inside their own 20, able to get their first of many goal line turnover on downs, and kept it a 12-7 scoreline going into the half. Beaver Falls would get the ball quickly to start the second half, and they go on another long drive. It was their third drive of 5 minutes or more in the game. They again get down inside the 10-yard line, but the Mohawk defense able to hold strong, and they keep a 12-7 scoreline, forcing another turnover on downs. However, they only go 3 and out. They punt the ball away, and Beaver Falls ends up getting great field position again in plus territory. They've taken up almost the entire third quarter now. On the second play of the fourth quarter, it's third down from the 5-yard line. Beaver Falls trying to punch it in. Alex Chapman, man, he had different plans. He rushes right through the A-gap, untouched, hits the quarterback before he can even hand the football off, and A.J. Verdi able to recover the fumble at the 8-yard line. The Bessemer crowd suddenly loud as can be, and they would only get louder because on the very next play, Mohawk gets the home run they've been waiting for. A back shoulder throw caught for a 12-yard gain and a first down. Dante Retort, though, breaks away from the defender, runs down the far sideline. Around midfield, he stiff-arms another defender to the ground and takes it the rest of the way for the 92-yard touchdown and a 14-12 lead easily. Our Melee Chiropractic play of the game. The next Tigers possession, Joey Nail from his defensive end spot jumps up, deflects the pass, and it's caught by a diving Justin Boston, his second interception of the diving variety in as many weeks. Retort then on the possession would come up big on a third down, makes another huge catch and run down the near sideline, gets dragged down at the 1-yard line. It would set up a quarterback sneak for Jay Rona. The insurance score to make it a 2-score game and a 2-score victory, 21-12 over Beaver Falls. Those 2 late turnovers plus 3 turnovers on down. Our MVP of the game was really given to the entire Mohawk defense. Verdi and Boston are the ones who took home shirts, but honestly, we could have easily given them to Nail and Chapman for their roles in helping to cause those 2 turnovers. Mohawk now at 4-0 in the MAC. Beaver Falls at 2-2, and essentially they've now lost out on a chance at repeating for the conference title. Actually, it would be a 3-peat, I believe. That is now out of the books for the Tigers. The other game we had coverage in, also in the MAC, Neshannock against Freedom. The Lancers start slowly, but they get the splash play they need in special teams, and they explode from there, a 35-0 win over Freedom at home. Neshannock now also 4-0 in the MAC, tied with Mohawk atop of the conference. Splash play went to Anthony Bonner, a 59-yard punt return for a touchdown for the first Lancer score of the game. He would later score his first offensive touchdown and second offensive touchdown of the year, an 8-yard pass on Gino Mazzacco, and then later on a 58-yard strike from Lucas Mininock. Pat Argero, he had the other 2 Lancer touchdowns, runs from 20 and from 4 yards out. Argero takes home our MVP insurance MVP of the game. Bonner's punt return earning that Mailey Chiropractic play of the game. But again, focus on the offense, and probably rightfully so. Over 400 yards of offense for the Lancers on Friday night. But check out that Lancer defense holding Freedom, just 48 yards of total offense and just 4 first downs in the game. Oh, and by the way, it was homecoming. Congratulations, Ava DeVincentis, your homecoming queen for 2023 at Neshannock High School. 6 other games we have to look at from Friday night in Lawrence County, and we'll take a look at them when we return. The Week 6 Recap Podcast, delivered by Penn Ohio Bottled Water.
Don't get left out to dry. Call the Penn Ohio Bottled Water Company for the fastest and most efficient bottled water delivery service in the area. Penn Ohio offers bottled water ranging from 16.9-ounce bottles to 5-gallon jugs, perfect for your next event or office water cooler system. Also, don't forget to ask about their custom labeling options. Visit PennOhioBottledWater.com for more information and to get a quote on their delivery services. Whether it's at home, in the office, or on the sidelines, Penn Ohio has you covered.
Well, high-scoring affair in Lancerville. How about this one? Couple other high-scoring affairs. Let's go down south first. The other game in the MAC, Elwood City against New Brighton, a historic one. Only the 9th time ever that Elwood City puts up 60-plus points in a game, and the first time they've done that since 1997, as Old Lincoln High defeats New Brighton 62-40. 100 total points on the board, 102 officially on the board, and it was actually a tight game going into the fourth quarter with Elwood leading 42-34, but they pulled away in the final frame. About 653 yards of total offense. I'll tell you what, though, they also allowed, 447 to New Brighton there on Friday night. Chris Smiley throws for a career-high 5 touchdown passes. Elijah Palmer-McCain, he runs for 4, and he caught one of those Smiley scores. 275 passing yards for Smiley, 285 rushing yards for EPM. Dominic Hogue had 2 of those receiving touchdowns to lead the way in the receiving corps. New Brighton, they stay winless. Elwood City now at 2-2 in MAC conference play. The other game up north in District 10 was a non-region game, Wilmington at General McLean, about a double overtime game. 49-42, Wilmington getting the win in double OT. And let's just go straight to the overtime where it's tied at 34. General McLean gets the ball first. They get down to the 1-yard line, inside the run, really, and they sneak it in. They go for 2 and convert, 42-34, so Wilmington has to answer, and they do immediately. A 10-yard run for Ben Miller. He had over 200 yards on the night and 4 touchdowns. Tyler Mikulin, the all-important conversion, able to reach over the goal line to extend it to a second overtime. It's good having Mikulin back, by the way, after missing the past month of football. On the second possession, this time Wilmington with the ball first on 3rd down. Buddha Book back at quarterback throws a 7-yard touchdown pass to Jamie Miller. And how deceptive was this play? Well, it's the first passing touchdown of the season. That's right, for the season for the Wilmington Greyhounds. After they convert the extra point, the Hounds hammer defense able to step up. 4th down from the 10 for General McLean. The Lancers throw a great pass to the front pylon, but just a little short. The ball was caught coming back, and it was outside of the end zone by the narrowest of margins. General McLean just a few inches short. Wilmington, their 3rd win of the season, now 3-4 on the year. A couple of big Region 3 games coming up to finish up their season. Let's drop down to Class 1A. Union, Rochester, 5-1 Scotties, 4-1 Rams. Union makes quick and decisive work of it. How about a 46-28 victory over the Rams? And it really wasn't quite that close even, as the Scotties took the opening kickoff, 2 long pass plays to Dane Jonke, and then Braylon Thomas runs it in from 5 yards out himself. Those two would connect on their next possession for a 75-yard touchdown pass. Grayson Blakely, then, he had 6 interceptions last year. He gets another one here on Friday night and takes it 35 yards to the house. It was 19-0 Scotties at the end of the first quarter. Union, they emptied the playbook here, though. They ran some double passes, reverses. How about a backwards pass to a lineman? And another lineman, Robert McCurdy, kicking an extra point, doing a little bit of everything, giving some... The opposition's got plenty to look at in the film room for sure for Coach Deedball's offense. And it all starts again with Braylon Thomas. How about this? Another 300-yard passing game, 2 touchdowns through the air, another 3 on the ground. A great night again for Braylon Thomas. Mike Gunn with a long touchdown run in the fourth quarter as well. Union has now won 8 of the last 12 against Rochester, but most importantly, they're 3-0 in conference play. Rochester now, keep your eye on them, 2-2 now in the Big 7. The other Big 7 game, plenty of points down here too. between Shenango and Southside, but most of it coming on the side of the Rams. 62-12, Southside defeating Shenango at Glenn Pop Johnston Stadium. Colton Fedrizzi would catch a 14-yard touchdown pass from Sam Myers in the first quarter. It cut the Rams' lead at that point to 7-6, but it was really just too much Rams and too much from their quarterback, Brody Almashi, especially on the ground. How about touchdown runs of 15, 30, and 46 yards? He also threw a 14-yard touchdown. The Shenango scored in the second half an 11-yard touchdown from Nico DeSalvo to Raymond Moore. Southside still perfect on the year. Shenango now at 1-3 in conference play. The other game in the Big 7, how about a big game with playoff implications? Going into this game between Laurel and Northgate, if Northgate wins, they basically have the inside track. They'd have 3 wins in the Big 7. Laurel basically needed a win on Friday night to keep their chances alive with games against Summit Academy and Shenango still to come in the final 2 weeks of the year, and Laurel able to get it done with a 35-12 victory. Northgate at the end of the first quarter actually led 12-7, but Laurel able to shut them out the rest of the way, going 28-0 the rest of the way to get that first conference win. It also halts a 5-game Spartan losing streak. Northgate now 2-2 in conference play. Big games remaining for both the Spartans and the Flames. How about Colton Carlson, though? He's been a huge spark since his return to the Spartan lineup. Big plays, about a team-high 10 tackles on defense, but he also caught passes for touchdowns, touchdown receptions from 18 and 40 yards out from Jackson Sodders, who was starting in place of the injured Lucas Santini. Sodders also a touchdown run on the evening, but again, the Ben Hennon show putting up big numbers, 33 rushes, 173 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Shout out to the defense for keeping Northgate's talented offense off of the scoreboard through the final 3 quarters, and another big shout out Maya Jarrett, 5 for 5 on her PAT attempts. Finally, as we jump up to Class 4A, Newcastle traveling to Chartiers Valley. Newcastle started strong but could not hang on, a 35-14 defeat to Char Valley on the road. The Canes actually had more yards of offense in the game than the Colts did, but they could not put an end to that losing streak. Now 16 straight losses for the Canes. Kayvon Gardner, well, he scored the game's opening touchdown, a 43-yard run. Kyrell Harris found Nate McKnight for the 33-yard touchdown in the third quarter. That was the extent of the Newcastle scoring, and it's not going to get much easier as they host the defending state runner-up Aliquippa Quips at home next week. We hope you will be joining us in your home or office or on the road, wherever you're listening to us on the Lawrence County SportsNet podcast series. Again, special thanks as our weekly get-together is delivered as always by Penn Ohio Bottled Water. Let Penn Ohio Bottled Water do the heavy lifting and deliver refreshing water to your home or business each and every week. That's what we are glad to do. Penn Ohio would probably deliver to your car as well, but probably not a great idea to be doing that. Trying to drive on the highway. Listen to us while you're on the highway. That's fine, but don't expect to get your bottled water delivered directly there. 3 more weeks to go in the high school season. We're going to have plenty coming up, including a couple of special presentations of our podcast series as we preview the soccer playoffs coming up for any teams that make it into the postseason. A couple up in District 10, both the Wilmington boys and girls expecting to be in postseason contention. And then definitely for the volleyball playoffs coming up, plenty of teams, especially in the WPIAL, who we will be previewing when the playoff brackets come out. And we're just a couple of weeks away from getting into the postseason. Remember, we're the only broadcast entity that is allowed to broadcast the WPIL playoff games and then into the state playoffs as well, as we are connected with NFHS Network. So be sure to keep tuning in live or archived each and every week on the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.